Hello my lovely friends, and welcome to another video. Today we're talking about books, more specifically light and dark academia novels. There are many different definitions of light and dark academia, but to me, light academia novels are novels that feature or are set in an academic setting with whimsical or romanticized notions of study, whilst dark academia is a novel that, whilst also set in an academic setting, focuses on the obsessive and dangerous and dark aspects of study and academic places. We're going to start with light academia and end with dark academia. The first novel, and perhaps one of the first examples of light academia novels that I kind of encountered, is Matilda. This novel follows Matilda, who is a bookworm from an unloving family who starts a new school with a rather strict and nasty head teacher. This novel perfectly fits this idea of light academia, as it's a book for young bookworms. Matilda loves to read and study, and she spreads this love to her classmates, and she's just an adorable character. The movie is also such a delightful light academia movie. If you're looking for a witchy school set novel, then check out The Worst Witch. This series follows Mildred Hubble as she studies how to be a witch. This novel is very gentle and magical. I reread the first book so many times when I was younger, and compared to the other witch school series, this novel remains kind of light throughout, and it's a delightful, whimsical read that I feel, whilst not commonly dubbed as light academia, I still feel like it fits that label. Now I am showing you Anne of Green Gables, and whilst this novel does have light academia elements, I would say that the later books in the series, especially the third one, focus more on the academics as Anne studies and becomes a teacher herself. If you have never heard of Anne of Green Gables before, this novel follows Anne Shirley, who is an orphan girl, as she's taken in by these two siblings, Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert, and how her wild, creative imagination changes their lives and those of their community. The story is very wholesome, and Anne is a character who loves to learn and study and ask questions with such a way that makes you want to study along with her. Moving on to another classic, we have Agnes Grey. This novel follows Agnes Grey, and it's the story of her as a governess. This novel is kind of inspired by Anne Bronte's own experience as a governess, and it offers quite an interesting insight what kind of working in that role was like. Whilst this novel isn't set in the usual academic setting, governesses were teachers to well-off families and to their children, so this novel does still fit into the realm of light academia. It also features the only green flag male lead you'll find in a Bronte novel. He is such a sweetheart, and the ending is adorable. On to another magical tale, we have The Paper Magician. This is the first in a trilogy, and it follows Conry as she starts her magic apprenticeship into paper magic, under the tutelage of magician Thane. Again, this is a slightly different take on light academia, as we're following an apprentice rather than in a school setting, but I love the magic system in this and how it is taught. Next we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This follows Emily Wilde as she studies fairy folk in a village where some strange events have been going on. Emily is an academic, and this novel is written in a very academic style with footnotes and lots of magical study. I feel like this novel has become a bit of a staple in lists of light academia novels, as it really does perfectly embody this genre. Now we're moving on to the realm of dark academia novels, though not quite at its darkest. This is kind of like a light dark academia novel, and some of you may not agree with its inclusion, but I feel that Sorcery of Thorns, which is a book about magical books and libraries, has its place on this list. The story follows Elizabeth, who has been raised in one of the great libraries, this place which is kind of filled with magical grimoires. When the library's most dangerous grimoire is released, Elizabeth is blamed, and with no one else to turn to, she turns to her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and finds herself tangled up in this centuries-old conspiracy. I love this book, and honestly I cannot recommend it enough. It's magic, libraries, a demon cat butler, magic books, a how light male lead, and swords. Just, all the things that I like thrown into one. And whilst this isn't really your usual dark academia novel, the setting and with all the libraries and the magical books kind of gives it a bit of that light dark academia vibes. Moving on to another novel which is slightly more on the lighter side of dark academia, but it definitely is more comfortably placed on this list, and that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This book tells the story of two magicians who are trying to bring magic back to England. This novel also features footnotes and a lot of magical study. The world building in this book is incredible, and it kind of feels a bit like a classic Regency novel at times. Whilst it is definitely a chunky book, it is a wonderful dark academia story. A novel I feel is not mentioned enough when one talks about dark academia is A Discovery of Witches. This follows Diana, who is a witch and a professor at Oxford, as she gets mixed up with this vampire called Matthew and this mysterious book. This book is so academic, not just in the setting and the fact that our characters are both professors, but in the plot itself. The love of study is as strong as the love story that is in this book, and it is kind of often the only thing people focus on. I kind of highly recommend giving this a read. I think you'll be surprised how strongly this book suits the dark academia genre. A well-known dark academia novel now, If We Were Villains. This follows a group of drama students at this university as their love for Shakespeare begins to bleed into their real lives in the most tragic of ways. I really enjoyed this story, even though I didn't like anything our characters were doing. They are all so morally grey, and you turn the page and just think, why are you doing that? But the story is so engaging and you cannot help but keep reading. Another famous dark academia novel, we have Fable. This follows Robin as he enters Oxford, where he studies the magical arts of translation and realises that the darkest of secrets hide behind Oxford's greatness. This novel touches on racism, imperialism and rebellion. It is a dark and thought-provoking story with a gut-punch ending. It's also a novel that is very academic in its style and also its story. Now for another famous dark academia novel, and one that I haven't actually read yet. That is The Secret History. This follows a group of misfit students as they fall under the influence of a charismatic classics professor and how things take a dangerous and immoral path. I'm so intrigued about this novel as it is considered one of the original dark academia novels. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I do want to give it a go. However, whilst The Secret History is often given the title of the original dark academia novel, I believe that it can be argued that Frankenstein actually deserves this title. This classic follows Victor Frankenstein, who becomes obsessed with life and creating his own being, which he does. He creates a creature and things just go downhill from there. A large part of the novel takes place as Frankenstein is studying and creating the creature. He is this mad scientist who is obsessed with studying and academics. This novel has kind of everything that one considers when they think of dark academia novel, and is, in my opinion, one of the originals of this genre. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this collection of light to dark academia novels. If you have any other suggestions, or if you've read any of the ones I have mentioned, do let me know in the comments below. I love discussing books. And if you would like to leave a comment but don't really know what to put, just leave a book emoji to let me know that you enjoyed till the end. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, my lovely friends.